Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome back to revision session. In the last video, we have finished chapter Globalization and the Indian economy, and today I am going to conduct revision of this chapter. So let's recall what we have learned before. So let's discuss globalization in brief first. What is globalization? So globalization is the process of rapid integration between countries. Rapid integration between countries. But here in context of economics or economic perception, we count through foreign trade and foreign investment done by multinational corporations. So globalization is the process of rapid integration between countries through foreign trade and foreign investment by multinational corporations, MNCs. And as we know, in recent years, markets in India have performed, actually they transformed due to globalization. How can we say that transformed? Because if we compare the Indian market a few decades back, few means we don't need to go too much far for this. But yes, we can go 1 or 2 decades, 3 decades before, and we can observe the markets of that time, which was kind of what we used the primitive market. Indian market was primitive, limited things were available, limited choices were there, and products were like kind of with the limited kind of quality and quantity, that options of choosing, that means varieties, were not available in Indian market. Compared to that, now Indian market, we know that full of foreign goods, where we can get different kind of goods equipped with the latest technology, following latest trends, right? And all those things available at very affordable rate. So here we can say that Indian market have transformed due to globalization. Now let's see that various dimensions of globalization. First, production across the countries. Those MNCs, multinational corporations, they play important role in globalization. But let's see how do they do it. So very first, production across countries. The early phase of globalization involved export of raw materials from colonial countries. So like early phase, I'm talking about few centuries back, now not few decades back, but few centuries back, during the age of industrialization. That time, countries like Britain, they were needed raw material to feed their industries, because they set up industries in their own country. So, like they bought raw material from countries like India, exported them, and processed them in their own country, because factories were there in their own countries. And afterwards, they exported the finished goods in different parts of the world. So it was like a very basic and initial stage of globalization. But over the time, this process have changed. So here now, in developed countries in the middle 20th century, things began to change. Some companies, mostly in the developed countries, some companies became multinational corporations as they spread their economic activities in various parts of the world. Before, their economic activities were limited as foreign trade, because they produce their goods in their own country. They exported in different parts of the world, in the different markets of the world, right? And it was done through the trade only. But in the middle of 20th century, those multinational corporations, those companies began to spread in the world. That means they began their production not in their parent nation but in the different parts of the world. Why so? So, as I said that first a multinational corporation, an MNC, is a company that owns control of production in more than one country. MNCs set up offices and factories for production in region where they get cheap labor, other resources, as well as the favorable government policies. Because ultimate goal of and multinational corporation is to earn maximum profit. So to earn maximum profit, they prefer place where they can get cheap labor, skilled and unskilled, cheap labor. Cheap means lower wages, availability of raw material, right? Cheap and affordable raw material, closeness to market. After finished goods, they need to sell their goods. So it is desirable their easy access to their market or market nearby their country. Means example, if company set up in China, so of course China is well connected with different parts of the world. So transportation cost is negligible, right? That is we call closeness to market, as well as for many multinational corporations, markets are there. India and other countries, surrounding countries, where what we call closeness to the market. More here, the production process is divided into small parts and spread out across the globe. Now, due to that complexity in the production process, we know that production of any goods today, we know that sometimes divided into different parts, different stages, and sometimes those stages spread in different countries. So why they spread? Why multinational corporations? They spread their production across the countries. Let's see how advantages of spreading out. By spreading out production across different countries, the multinational corporations get the best quality resources at cheap prices. This increased their profit because earlier I said aim of a multinational corporation or any multinational corporation is to earn maximum profit. So they do any possible thing to increase their profit. The similar here, production spreading across the country is one of their policy, their strategy. By spreading the production, the multinational corporations generate employment opportunity in underdeveloped country or in the developing countries. Earlier we have seen example of machinery company where they design their machines in USA, components in China, assembly in Brazil and Mexico, and they sell their machineries, equipment in different parts of the world. This is how they spread their production across the countries. Understood? Similar, like automobile industries, where they design and develop their models in their research and development center located in different countries. In their parent nation, sometimes they invest in other countries like India, where they get skilled laborers, engineers at very reasonable or very cheap wages, right? Then after they order their parts for a car to different countries. Sometimes they produce their own parts in different countries due to availability of resources as, as well as labors. And finally, they assemble their all part of a car at one assembly plant located in country. Possibly we can say like in India. So this is how production begins. Now, interlinking production across the countries. How do they do it? How do they interlink this kind of production? MNCs link the production process of different countries. And we know that to start production, the basic things are required. We call them factors. Earlier we learned in economics standard 9 factors of production. So, four factors we learned: land, labor, physical capital. In physical capital, there are two types of capital: fixed capital and working capital. Last, human capital. Alright, four factors we learn. So, multinational corporations, they have fixed capital, means in huge amount, they are wealthier. Now, all they need to do to invest their capital. Land, they don't have land, they have to purchase the land. They have to they have to hire the laborers. They have to purchase and set up their machineries and building, etc. But no problem for them because they are wealthier, they have lots of capital. And human resources already they have, as they are multinational corporations. So, here to purchase land, machineries, equipment, and all those things, money is required, right? And that's what we call capital. And that spending that money, that is called investment. So let's see that some ways of interlinking production across the countries. So how do they do it? First, here those ways of or routes of interlinking production, also called that the routes to investment in different countries, or routes for foreign investment. This question can be as different in different form. Can be as interlinking production across the country or foreign investment. So here basically in textbook given there are three routes given, and earlier we had discussed those three routes in detail, and today I am going to add one more: foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment, it means investment made by a company. Basically, company here, a multinational corporation, into country, different country, into a company based in another country. That means FDI means foreign company invested directly in our country. That is called foreign direct investment. Directly, if the country purchases assets here, that is called foreign direct investment, right? So, like foreign company arrives in India, set up their plants, purchase land, and without help of any other company or Indian entrepreneur, invest directly, that is called foreign direct investment. Because it is direct investment, and direct investment done by a foreign multinational corporation, that is why called foreign direct investment, FDI. Got it? This FDI is not mentioned in your textbook, but in a routes or in a way of interlinking production across the country, you can write. That is completely acceptable, and that is a fact. Alright. Second one, partnership or joint venture. About this we already have learned. Let's recall. Sometimes multinational corporations join hands with local companies and produce jointly. In this way, multinational corporations provide capital, as well as they also provide technology. They also provided models of various products, and this way they produce better, and multinational corporation gets advantage of knowledge of local company, knowledge about local market, knowledge and experience of local market. So this is how they, in a partnership, in joint venture, they began business. Next, local companies, merger or takeover. Earlier we have seen that local companies sometimes purchased by for a multinational corporation. And sometimes multinational corporations, they purchase entire local company, and in some cases multinational corporation continue with their own brand name. Sometimes they merge, sometimes they merge. So this is called merger or takeover. So multinational corporation, earlier we have seen that Cargill Foods of USA has taken over Parak Food in India, but continue brand name of Parak Food, did not merger. Right. In merger case, they perish that previous brand name, and all that production and selling activity done in the name of multinational corporations brand name, that is called merger. Next year, contract to local companies. Many times multinational corporations only place orders through contract to local companies. So here multinational corporations have reputed brand name. We purchase things in the name of brand because that name, that brand is like symbol of trust, symbol of quality, right? As well as status and those things also matter. But basically here, brand, that means symbol of trust, symbol of quality. That is why even people, consumers, prefer branded things compared to unbranded or less known brand. So multinational corporations get advantage of their brand value. So they order local companies to produce goods on behalf of them, and in the name of their brand, those multinational corporations only conduct the marketing. That means only they sell, production done by the local companies. So contract to local companies. The MNCs determine the prices, quality, delivery, and labor conditions for this distance producers like footwear, sports goods, garments, food. We have seen magazine example, as well as many here services, IT services through contracts to local companies. So here we have seen interlinking production across the countries. In the next video, we'll continue the revision, and afterwards I will provide you notes as well as question answers we will discuss here. Thank you so much for watching video.